welcome to the Smart Partners Hub in London. And today is 20th of June, so we are in a countdown mode towards the 29th of June when the Financial Inclusion Think Tank is taking place in the library. But before that, I should say welcome to Professor David Hand, who is one of the very well-known data scientists, and not only that, he's leading the research in the Data Science Institute in Imperial College, but also is part of the ongoing demystification, well, if that's a word, an ongoing realization of why data as such needs to be taken very serious and probably is a primary focus for any government department, any government developing or fragile. So I'm now focusing on how do we take forward, David, since last year, the issue of data in the very specific context of central banks.
Yeah.
And then you broaden that, and we're very grateful for that, broaden that issue of data and application of data and how to handle that. In December, among the smart partners from various initiatives, and then you focused on the smart partners 29ers, the youth, the young ones in Uganda. And now we kind of more or less trying to build in deeper understanding beyond, as you will explain to us, beyond just the importance of data in actually trying to integrate the use of data storage in the context of central banks, etc. As I was mentioned to you before, we had about a few days ago an interface, an interaction with some leading private sector from the industry of financial technology, fintech. And what Oliver, for instance, and Mike Brookbank, but what Oliver was saying was that Oliver Oram, you met him last year at Central Bank, specialist in blockchain and so on. What they're saying is the industry will continue to develop, is unstoppable.
Yes.
Financial technology and so on. But the applications, the solutions that they are offering are only dependent on the private sector, governments and citizens recognizing they have some problems which could be approached with.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know that they need really to recognise that they have problems. The private sector, governments are all in the business of making decisions. And if you're going to make decisions, you don't just make them in thin air, you make them in the context of what you know about the things you're making decisions about. Or to put that another way, you make them in the context of data describing the situations you're trying to make decisions about. And the potential we've got nowadays is that larger and larger data sets are being collected and stored, describing how people are behaving, what they do, what decisions they make. So it's possible, with appropriate data technology, to take advantage of that data to inform the decisions that the private sector or government make, to make better decisions. I think that's the target we're all aiming for.
The main
the
target.
Better decisions based on data.
Yeah, and I suppose I was the other day. You can't help it. There are things
So
all over the place.
Yes.
But these radical technologies, which will be a reading tip. But I'm Adam Greenfield. What you are saying is these radical technologies to do with storing or extracting meaning from data are helping to design the everyday life.
Well, that's absolutely true.
In addition to...
I mean, it's obvious that with things like the social media, they are impacting how people behave.
Yeah.
In the old days, you used to arrange to meet somebody at a certain time, and you both try to be there at the same time. Now you do it on the fly through mobile phones and things of that nature, and all sorts of other social media interactions are fundamentally changing the way people behave.
And of course the ongoing data science, in which you are particularly one of the leading, is trying to do blue sky research type, to try to to probably look outside of a specific application.
Yes, absolutely.
Or forthcoming.
Yeah, I mean, technical research in the area of data science is trying to find, I can summarise it by saying it's trying to find new ways for squeezing understanding and illumination from data. You're trying to find different approaches, you're looking at different kinds of data, new kinds of data being collected all the time, to gain understanding on the basis of the data. And that's what data science research is all about, finding new ways to squeeze understanding and illumination from data.
So it's not about the technology which supports more storing or more...
That technology provides a sort of infrastructure which the data science technology sits on top of. So you get faster computers, bigger computer memories, and those are necessary foundations for data science technology to work. Yeah.
So if one would, for instance, talk to our smart partner central bank governors like Professor Mutabile or Professor Beno and so on, that you know, governors from Tanzania or Uganda and Swaziland, if one would try to avoid the word machine learning or artificial intelligence and even blockchain distributed, I can only see myself with data. Is that blockchain is about a data reference set?
Yes, it's all about data, but I think the point is, again, they have to make decisions, and they will make decisions on the basis of information, on the basis of data, and data science enables them to look at the data, extract the important features, make more effective, make better decisions. To the extent that they don't take advantage of these massive data sources which are accumulating, they will make worse decisions. So I think it's very important that they recognise the technologies, the blockchain technology, the machine learning technologies, the artificial intelligence technology, in some sense don't matter. What the key thing, the important concept here is that using data sets, however you're using it, you can make better decisions.
So probably what you're saying is that be it the group of central bank governors or national statistics or any other group of likely governance who are involved in governance, they probably shouldn't be so much concerned with distinctions between this or that machine learning system or this and that.
Right. You can let the technical people worry about how to get the information from the data, and they will probably be young people who are relaxed with computers who can actually do it. That's not so important, the precise details of how it's done. What's important is that they are able to get the information from the numbers.
So then how could one bring up the realization that there is a possibility of... Because if you have these massive data, you probably need your imagination has to run as a governor wild to say what would I do with I mean, if there was to be a vision or a dream that I would have a massive data, what would any of them...
Yes, that's a very nice question. I think if I was in their position, I would start at the high level with some blue sky questions. If I knew this, I could revolutionise the way something happens within my country. I could make things so much better. Right, if I knew this, then you go to the data technologists, the data scientists, and you say, how do I find out this? What can you tell me about this? And you let them get on with the technical details of extracting the information from the data. You look at how to take advantage of that to improve the condition of the people.
There is this question, how much a governor, and again it's not just governor, it could be prime minister or president, how much in that function one has to participate into understanding.
Yes,
But
that's the
because that's another aspect of it.
Yeah.
You could say, if I were to have this, I would do this.
Yeah.
But then, because you are the only one who understands, if I were to have this, I could do this.
Yeah.
You have to be part of the...
Yeah, I don't think they need to understand the things at a very low level. They just need to know what information they would need in order to inform decisions which would be of public benefit.
So one of the main, last year, and will continue probably after the governors, one of the main association of data for people to was national statistics offices.
Yeah, yeah.
And also one of the beneficial were the central banks
Yes,
are. So how much do you think the national statistics offices are more at the, were I to have so much data, I wouldn't, you are mentioning do this or that or the other, or I would replace surveys or whatever it is.
Yes, yes.
What would the national statistics offices do better than what they do now, or maybe radically different?
Yeah. I mean, traditionally, national statistical offices have tended to use a lot of survey data. There is certainly in some countries, and I think this, every country could benefit from this, a drift towards using administrative data which are captured during the normal course of events, in running tax office, in running retail organisation, whatever. The data are simply recorded because of the business processes you need to go through. So the data are there. These sorts of data have the particular advantage that they don't tell you what people say they think or what people's opinions are. They tell you actually how people behave, so that you can look at this data and say, okay, this is really what people want, this is what they would like to do, this is what they are doing, so on. So I think the National Statistical Office is shifting in that sort of direction. The ability to analyse and extract information from administrative data is very useful. Certainly, I know the UK National Statistical Office quite well, of course, and certainly there is a very powerful movement in that direction within the UK, and I'm also aware that it's other countries where this is happening. Yes, and I think this is going to prove to be very important for the future. And it does require a different sort of mindset. It gets away from the administrative data are not without problems. But they are of a different kind. The problems are different from survey data. So it does require a certain amount of reskilling, retraining and rethinking.
So you would think that the National Statistics Office's current main clients, beside the statutory requirements, who are they? Because if I am a private sector, in tourism or whatever, or if I'm Treasury or Ministry of Finance, I would say National Statistics will give me data.
But National Statistics Offices, in some sense, they don't really give you data. They take data in, and what they put out is some sort of understanding, economic indicators, social statistics or whatever, understanding of how society is behaving. And that's really their task, to act as a pipe with data coming in at one end and understanding coming out at the other end. And the data coming in can be survey data, it could be administrative data, it can be all sorts. And the key thing is that the statistics, the information coming out of the other end, should be in general for the public good. Obviously should inform governments so they can make good decisions, but it might inform other organisations, bodies, indeed, private sector, charitable sector, exactly, citizens as a whole.
So in that sense, the National Statistics Office's role would be the same in principle, except that they will have more data sources. Yes, indeed, that's one of the advantages of a lot of these new data sets. Real time, so that you can see what's happening now, not what was happening 6 months ago. So the decisions will probably happen. The process of decision will change.
Yes, it could do in many areas. I think it will do.
So the central banks and the national statistics in relation to data would probably even closer.
Yes, indeed.
Because of the data.
It's very clear, isn't it, that data and the understanding obtained from data very closely informs, or should inform, the decisions that national banks and so on make. So I mean, this is immensely potentially powerful, useful to the banks to help them steer economies and things.
Well, there is a reluctance of, not reluctance, but a protection or because of that's the only other dimension I wanted to bring in.
Yeah.
And you said you're part of a commission who is going to produce a report on data and governance.
Yeah. Yes. And
So-
the other. So I've been talking about the huge potential benefits from this revolution which is going on at the moment. But we have to be careful. I mean, we keep hearing about lost data, privacy intrusions, breaches of confidentiality. It's very important that those are monitored and controlled and that effective governance regulations are put in place. And yes, I've been on a working group which is going to report to the government in the UK about these sorts of issues in the near future. I think I should say that what we're talking about here is an advanced technology, and any advanced technology has potential immense benefits, but it also has potential downsides. So it's very important that governance is put in place to control,
assess the tool
yes.
and to control,
Exactly. Yeah.
or to introduce restrictions of a kind.
Possibly introduce restrictions. Yeah.
I suppose there are different, all sorts of different dimensions that even the governors in their own context realize that need to be taken in consideration. But even in relation to financial inclusion, the idea of setting up, emerging national cooperative frameworks, which Professor Benno Ndulo was mentioning in the last 2 years, those are networks of formal institutions, but of professionals, which are trying to influence behavior. And all is about the data probably that common that they may be able to have.
Yes.
Or
I
to
think
generate.
that's a very nice example of the need for data governance. Influencing behaviour can be for the good, but it needn't be for the good. So governance is critical again. Yes.
You said that UK UK will have and that's the final remark, will have the Commonwealth Summit next year.
Right.
So obviously all the Commonwealth countries and our Smart Partnership Group is looking forward to also maybe share even more in detail some of the experience that UK has, and specifically particularly in this area of data and its applications. And the Smart Partnership Group is trying to do that actually, and there may be a think tanking larger sometime at the end of October, and I haven't told you that about it. Most likely President, His Excellency President of Uganda called for that at the end of October and beginning of November, and that may be kind of visible at the Commonwealth Summit.
Excellent.
But you were going back to, you're saying that UK has already all sorts of legal and institutional infrastructure
we have
to do with
Data
data.
Protection Act, the Freedom of Information Act. We have an Information Commissioner. There's a whole sort of network of laws, regulations, legislation concerning with these things. But things are changing quite rapidly, and we need to ensure that the legislation is changed if necessary, new legislation is introduced if necessary, but this is a very important point, in such a way that it's future-proofed. And the reason this is an important point, we are not, as it were, reaching a new plateau in terms of data, in terms of these technologies, in terms of what we can do with them. We are still on a slope going up. So putting in place, the law always lags behind technology. Putting in place new laws now would be great for what the technology was 5 years ago, but we need to put in place something which will still be adequate in 5 years' time. So.
And how do you do that? Again, data scientists with
a great deal of difficulty, but it's a lot
it's a must requirement nowadays. So I suppose the network between the countries in the Commonwealth probably is even more relevant because of that. Because otherwise, so the difference of time between lagging, developing countries and so on is probably not
because
not accepted, it probably doesn't exist,
yeah,
cannot
yeah,
exist.
things move so fast. Also, there's always this advantage, isn't there, that if you've put in place an infrastructure, that acts as that's a deadweight, it slows you down. Sometimes it's possible to leap over the top.
Yes.
And the sorts of technologies we're talking about here, information technologies, data technologies, are not technologies which require massive machinery. They do require big computers, but that's not the same as, you know, putting in a new rail network or something like that. So it's possible to leap over, to leapfrog much more readily than it has been with past technologies. So I think the future looks bright.
Well, the future looks very bright, but it's just the way to... There are limitless, as we said, with the limits recognized, but there are limitless, and this smart partnership, a partnership rather than a membership of a country, of a project, a partnership which doesn't fix you only into as a member, is probably the name of the game. Well, I mean, and thank you very much for David for continuing to try to put a bit of time into the smart partnership movement, time and wisdom. And thank you for introducing us to Dr. Giles Pavey. Hopefully we will have him at the...
That's my pleasure.
I mean, this is how the Smart Partnership Network works. So, okay, thank you very much and good luck in the research.